So Dad, when we last spoke, in the last episode, you'd finished in Bayeux, you'd been in Normandy for about 8 days, and you came back down to Courcelles to get back on your LCF.
Yeah.
Now, just to give everybody an outline of what you were going to do on the Trout line, which lasted, I think, for about 3 months. The idea of the Trout line was a vessel of ships to guard all the big ships.
And merchant ships.
Yeah, and merchant ships. Now, the big ships were still firing 25 mile inland. The beachhead was probably, had gone in about 10 or 12 mile, I suppose, at this stage. And so you were a line of ships that were to protect the big ships and the merchandise ships and prisoners of war going back and whatever. So just tell me what you think a normal, typical day on the Trout line, say starting at 6 in the morning and going through to 6.
Yeah, well, it would start here. As soon as it was daybreak, we're coming back. We were up anchored because we were already on the Trout line, so we're coming back. You've got to anchor, but they're being shelled then from Le Havre with the big naval guns. They're trying to blow us up. Because at Trout line we had from Ustrum, which was the end of the British beaches, to Point de Cantipa, which is the furthest most point in France towards England, and so they put all us LCS, LCGs, SMLs, all small ones with high-powered guns along there to protect us from. They were using human torpedoes, men sit on like a motorbike, inside little...
So how long would they be, lengthwise?
Oh, about 6 foot. More than that sometimes.
Yeah. It's like a big torpedo, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always sitting on a torpedo with 2 seats on, sometimes on one. And then there was another one like a motorboat with a glass top where he sat inside. And they're all low in the water, so you can't really see them till they're almost there when they're that low in the water. And on the end of it was a big explosive thing. So like he would drive up to your boat, they want to cut a gap so they get through with their other big ships. So if they knock one of you out, there's a gap. Because we're all like nose to tail, anchored, and we've all got they're like machine guns really, big machine guns really, pom-poms and
40mm and 20mm cannons.
Yeah, they're like machine guns. I've been firing 600 revs a minute. So they were firing good high power, and they've got explosive and armour-piercing shells in them.
And how often would they come every day?
Every night, not daytime. No. They never come out of the day. They got to come out of Le Havre Harbour, which is a big naval base which the Germans used for their navy to replenish their supplies. But now they're hemmed in, so they can't use it. But they're fighting to the end as Hitler had told them to. All the stuff they had there was tons and tons of torpedoes, mines, and stuff for supplies, which now they can't get out.
So they used to float the mines out with the tide as well, didn't they?
Yes, float them out. They just, instead of being anchored a mine, they'd float it out. So you didn't see it till it was bobbing up and down.
And you just...
You could all get, if it's getting too close and you can't shoot at it because it'll blow you up, you get down on our next little level of a platform and sit there in a row with your feet up to stop it hitting the ship. Because you go between the horns.
Was it the mines with the big, like a big spike on?
They got horns. They ain't got as many as we have on ours, I don't think, but I can't remember that. But they had horns on them, and it's the horns, inside the horn, is where the detonators are. The other thing is the explosives. So if that touches the ship without them horns breaking, then it doesn't affect the ship. But one of those horns in the turbulence of the sea is going to catch one of them on the ship.
Okay. So that they would send those out on the tide, and you'd have those human torpedoes, basically.
They would come out any time.
And the Luftwaffe, I know know they came overnight, but did they come in the day as well, or?
No.
No.
Well, no, I don't think they did. I never seen any. Because I think the Air Force had covered it. I think they were trying to come out.
Yeah.
Well, there weren't enough of them.
Well, the air power was overwhelming.
Yeah,
for
well,
the
I
Allies.
suppose they come out on their airplane. They'd see 1,000 airplanes in front of them.
Yeah.
So go back.
Mm.
But at night, they used to come out with a few bombers, Heinkels, and you could see the man in them. It's all glass front.
There's 3 in that crew, I think. So there'd be a guy in the front and the pilot and the co-pilot, I guess.
Well, that's above that.
Mm.
Yeah, he's in this big long dome lot.
So they were really not interested in you. They were really interested in the big ships behind you.
No, they were interested in knocking you out.
Oh, I see. Okay. Hang on.
So they could get through.
Yeah.
So they had to knock you out to get at these ships in the harbour, what you call the Seine Bay.
So how many people would be in the Trout line, do you think? How many craft?
Well, I can't remember how many craft, but they stretch quite a long way from Ustrom. There's very small ones that just had twin Brownings or Vickers on. And then they come up in size to LCFs and Gs. And then up to bigger boats out towards Cap the Antifa, which was the furthest point. Then we had destroyers up there and frigates.
And you said to me that really this 3 months on the Trout line was probably the worst.
Well, traumatic because you can't see who you're looking for and when. It's no, you can't say, oh, they'll be here tonight or tomorrow or next hour. They're just there. You're on watch the whole time. You're all on watch. You sleep up on the deck on your turret. It's cold, obviously cold. You're sleeping there, number 2's on the gun, and he's down there and you're on the gun. You've always got to be strapped in and ready. You can't get ready. You're already strapped in and ready with the safety catch off.
So for 3 months you're basically on
and you lived on rations.
You were telling me you didn't like the rations.
Well, they were K rations. Packets of, you had a little cube which would be your dinner, and a little cube would be your tea and milk, and that sort of thing. And that's what we lived on. And some lieutenants and things got the enterprise in. I used to, in the day, would sail a little dinghy, which we had a dinghy on, to shore near somewhere just side of Ustrom somewhere. Go ashore and meet the farmers and buy some spuds and turnips, which the cook would have to cook up on the top. They didn't want to make smoke in the little chimney we had.
Oh, that's right.
So he'd cook them, and then that'd be nice. But you wouldn't have that all the time, probably one meal. That's it. So you lived on them, and we were getting malnourished, as you might say, as in vitamins.
Yeah. No greens, really, I suppose.
No.
So when so this basically happened for 3 months, and then once the Germans had gone past where the big ships could fire.
Once they gone past to the Antifa, they started turning right, because that's the end of the French coast, going the other way then towards Dunkirk and Calais.
But basically, once the Germans had gone, there was no need for the big ships again. So your Trout line was to finish.
Oh, the big ships could still fire, but they weren't going to get attacked.
Yeah. So you also then...
and they didn't need us then.
Yeah. So you then was to head off back to the UK.
Yes, we did, and we got that much water coming in from, I don't know where, either leaking because with explosions that was close by, had unsealed the seal on the, where they joined together. But we had a pump on it, what they called
a bilge pump.
A bilge pump, which was a handle that went backwards and forwards. That was used mainly for the tank landing craft. But now he's got a big job to do because there's water coming in. We didn't want it sinking there because it'd be a nuisance in the harbour. Be no good amongst all our ships with the bloody thing sticking up underneath. So he got to be got out. The best thing to do was to sail it back to England. So all the way back, 100 odd miles, was pumping and never stopped. Never stopped. You just grabbed the handle and kept going for about 10 minutes.
So when you go back to England, basically I think you said that your LCF was probably decommissioned.
Oh, she was ruined.
Yeah.
Ruined.
So when you finished on that Trout line on the LCF and got back to the UK, this was when you decided, I think, to join the Commandos. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
Well, because I'd been with them on the initial landings on the item and that their beach in that corner, Gold Beach. I'd seen how they operated and I liked it. And what was his name now? I think his name, the Colonel. He said, I'd like to keep you fellas here, not just the tank men as well. I'd like to keep you, he said. You've done a good job, but I can't because I've got reinforcements from the commando, what's it, like, barracks in Wrexham.
Okay.
That was. And they're on the way now, they're just coming out, so. And he said, you'll have to find your own way back. We can't do anything. We've got no transport. We haven't. So you go just up the road, about 5 miles, I think, to Bayo and see the military police. They put you on a truck that was going to Courcelles. They said, you can nothing on our beach. Gold Beach was littered with broken landing craft, smoking tanks, and just like a tip.
When you got back to England, you decided to go and join the Commandos.
Yeah, well, not straight away because I didn't know what was happening then. I don't know where we got off now. Somewhere outside of Dover, between Dover and the end of Kent, because we're only far away. We landed up at a place called Sandwich. I don't know if that's the name of the town or just the name of the camp.
That's the name of the town.
So we was in the camp, not long. Didn't like that. Nobody liked being in that. In camps and, where you're doing all bloody drills. So, not when you've been free and easy on guns and things. You don't want to be up and down marching and yes sir, yes sir. So, there was a big advertisement there. Oh, he sent us first of all, that's right. First off, to send us down to the Royal Marine Infantry down in Devon. And when we got there, I could see up and down, oh God, I didn't like the look of this place. Me and a friend, I met him somewhere on the road. We saw an advert in the guardroom thing, post thing. Tomorrow, no, the afternoon, I think, or either the afternoon or the next day, men wanted for commandos. I said, well, why don't we try that? That'll be something better than mucking around here. We didn't know how long we'd be there otherwise. So we go and he gives us a talk of what kind of men they're looking for. Intelligent men. And
How did you get in?
So we must have thought we were intelligent. So we went in and they interviewed us and said, oh, why do you want to join the Commandos when you've already been in action over there in France? Why do you want to go again? So we said, well, we don't like marching up and down with rifles and yes sir, right turn, left turn, and all that stuff. He smiled. I understand, he said. So we said, well, just go over to that other end of the hall and sit outside and then they'll come out, or he will come in. So we sat in a chair there with others and then the MO medical officer's assistant came out. Come on in. Take all your clothes off. All of them, he said. Pants as well. Everything off. Okay. Now hands up in the air. Eye to hock. And then he has a look all in your hair, no nits in your hair. Has a look round your eyes, round your ears, all down. Gets his stick under your doodly doodle. lifts it up, gives it a cough, pop, 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 bend over, cough,